My name is Benjamin Poole, and when I was 23, I gave my life savings to a broker who lost it all. But this taught me an invaluable lesson. I needed to educate myself to make my own financial decisions. Fast forward 20 years, I am no longer living paycheck to paycheck, and I want to share everything I've learned with you. Welcome to Financially Fit.
Welcome to Financially Fit. My name is Benjamin Poole, and I'm here with
Lawton Ho.
There we go. All right.
And Ben, unfortunately, is a bit under the weather, as you can hear him.
But I'm going to bring all the energy I have.
Yeah,
Here we go.
went a little too hard in Vegas.
Yep.
You know how it is. So welcome to Financially Fit. If it's your first time viewing, welcome. The way this works is you all leave questions on our members dashboard. I make a post every single week around 11 a.m. every single Tuesday for you to leave your questions. You can also leave your questions in the live chat. I have that open on my iPad here. So any questions that you want Ben or I to talk about, go ahead and leave them down here. With that being said,
let's get going.
Let's
What's
get
the
into
first
it.
question?
Okay, so let's start it easy, okay?
All right, easy question. I like it.
Okay, so first of all, this question is by Gabrielle. She asks, do you find that the opening price on the day can sometimes operate as support or resistance?
This is the same question we had last week. And the answer is yes. It really depends on the move that you have. If you have like an opening and then it jumps 10%, when it falls back into that opening price, then yes, absolutely that will be support. Subsequently, if it drops 10% or so and it comes back up, it will be resistance at that point. So absolutely, you got to take every situation case by case basis, and it really depends on the move that it's had. So the more extended it is, the more support and or resistance it will provide you.
Cool. All right, next question. Let's talk about from Aaron. Aaron says, I would love your read on the crypto coin Quant. QNT. Thanks, VI team.
QNT USDT. All right. Yeah, let me go ahead and go to the daily basis. All right, so this is the first time I'm looking at this chart, at least right now. So right now it's currently still in a downtrend. So just based on looking at it a little glance, you can see that it's in this nice downtrend. What I am noticing is it's starting to, you've got this trend line right here that it looks as if it's starting to break above. This actually might be a better trend line right here. I actually like this trend line a little bit more. So it's going to have some resistance. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. If you can pull up a little bit more for QNT, you've got this resistance spot right here, probably around the $85 level, and I'll actually put a trend line in here so that way I can see exactly where it is, more like $82. So if you get up to the $82, you're going to get some pullback right here, and then what you're looking for is you want to see what it does after it gets at this level. So if it starts consolidating like this, then it's going to want to make a push to the upside. However, if it starts consolidating and goes towards the bottom end of this trend line, this candle, this green bar candle, then it's going to want to go further to the downside. Now, this was just a kind of a brief look at it. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. Just see if there's any other levels. Not really as I'm looking at it. It does have potential downside to around the $39 level. So I'll go ahead and open this up. Yeah, I just noticed that $82 level. Actually, if you go up a little bit higher, you've got these pivots right here. So you've got this pivot right here, and then you've got a little bit of choppiness in here. And so then you've got all this choppiness in here. So this $83 level, I know I had this at 82, but $82 to $83 level, because the price got below this is going to be significant resistance. So if you're looking for an upside move, you want it to get to this level, start consolidating here under this resistance, and then you'll look for potential further upside. But right now, this 82 or 83.90 level is acting as significant resistance, and so it's still in a downtrend.
Cool. So our Learsy says, howdy, don't get Lawton sick, Ben. I'm afraid
Okay.
it might be too late.
Yeah.
I might be a goner. Okay, next question comes from Jay Strick. How would you go about trading a stock that is currently in the middle of a gap fill? For example, PANW. But that's just an example. How would you go about trading a stock that's in the middle of a gap fill?
You do nothing with it. So my guess is that when you're saying it's in the middle of a gap fill, it's probably in between gap window and gap fill. And so you've got this in-between area. You wait for it to do something. You actually want to, most of the time you want to wait for it to actually fill that gap, and then you can make a decision. But in the meantime, you just kind of want to leave it alone.
Cool. That definitely makes sense. Next question comes from Paul. Paul asks, is there any technical support or trend lines on the VXX? Does the chart suggest a bounce anytime soon, or just further downside?
So VXX, when you're charting VXX, you actually want to take a look at the VIX.
Yeah.
And that's the chart that you want to do all your analysis on. So the VXX is just an ETF of the VIX, and it allows you to trade the VIX. So unfortunately, right now, if I remember correctly, the VIX is actually chopping around the $12 range, 12 something. Oh, thank you. So yeah, it's right around 11.94. It can go lower, which means that the VIX or the VXX could go lower as well. So this is the weekly time frame. So here, you know, the all-time lows, or pretty close to it, going back to 2017, 2018, you have right here, it can go quite a bit lower. So down to around the $8.69 level. So if you notice, that's about another 27% drop on this, which means the VIX, or the VXX can go significantly lower. But again, you want to chart the VIX, not the VXX.
Okay.
Hope that helps.
Question from Gustavo. Can you see if CLSK is in a good buy point?
CLSK.
CLSK. Is it at a good buy point? Should I dump my entire portfolio into this? That's the question.
Do they actually say entire portfolio?
No, that's what I added.
Oh, got it. Well, it's made a good run. So let me see all-time highs. It's got significant resistance right around 23.41. So it did make this big pop up. It's a nice pop up, and it came back down. Now it's just kind of consolidating sideways. I would have liked for CleanSpark to get above this this resistance level right here and start consolidating above it. However, as you can see, it came above it, came back down. Now it's actually consolidating at the lower end here. And so I would actually say this is more of a bearish pattern, not necessarily a good opportunity to go long for CleanSpark. What I would be waiting for is I would be waiting for another consolidation, maybe another push up right here, more consolidation, and then I would look for a move to the upside. But as of right now, it's actually looking a little bit more bearish. If it gets in this area and starts consolidating inside of this green bar, then you can look for further upside. But that 23.41 area is going to be your resistance. If it can break out of that, then yeah, it can absolutely go higher.
Cool. Next question comes from PK Rad Greek. Says, what are the pros and cons of using a dividend-adjusted stock chart, and do you use one?
I do not use a dividend-adjusted stock chart. I noticed that when I'm doing my support and resistance levels, removing the dividend from it gives me really accurate measurements for the levels that I'm looking for, and so I never turn it on.
Next question. So Christopher says, "Hi Ben and Lawton. I have a small position in plug power with an average of 259. If it continues to go down, could you please provide me with some good ad levels where there is support? I have plenty of room to maneuver. Thank you." This is plug power.
Plug power, PLUG.
Plug. Average is at 259, looking for ad levels.
Okay, 259. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to zoom out in the charts. I'm actually gonna switch to the weekly chart so I can see some additional levels. So 259 it looked as if it was a good buy point because you've got this lower end of the pivot right here, and it looks like there was quite a bit of support in here. So it seems as if you got in at a good level. So now looking at the chart, looking for these specific levels right here. All right, so the next levels that I have would be, you've got all this price action here, a little bit here, right in this area. And so 186 would be my next ad level. And then probably around the 96 cent level, maybe a little bit higher, but I like a pierce of the dollar. So you've got this pivot low, you've got this price action right here, and then you have a little bit more price action right here. And then ultimately you have double bottom. If it goes below double bottom, there is no more support. And at that point, you could think about either continuing to hold or you could stop out of it. But 11 cents, and look, from 96 cents all the way down to 11 cents, that's a pretty big gap. That's pretty close to a 90% fall. So just kind of be careful with it. Another thing you could do is, now that your level is 259, we are trading at 225. Add, instead of like maybe the 186, maybe you even wait a little bit further and wait for the $1 mark, and then just know that you could go down even further. So,
all right.
I will say what you're looking for in this chart is you're looking for a reversal signal, something that indicates that you are going to have further upside. But right now that it's broken this support, I mean, it looks pretty likely that it'll go down even further. So.
Sure, and we're just going to do two more questions because you're
two
not
more
feeling
questions.
well. Okay. The first question is, how do you short oil? Do you use the different brokerages for futures?
I don't trade futures. USO is a good way to short oil. So here, let me pull this up. So that's the United States Oil Fund. So you could just short USO. So if you see any resistance levels, like for example, this double top right here, right around $84. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If it goes up a couple more days, gets up $84 level, then you can pull a short, and wait for further downside. Yeah, pretty easy.
All right, last question.
Last question.
And before I ask this last question, I just want to talk to you all. If you want a one-on-one session with Ben, he is available for purchase at an hour at a time. Go ahead and visit the verifiedinvesting.com website. Check out the private sessions, and go check out his private sessions. You can ask him all the questions you want. And one more thing. I heard some big news. I heard yesterday that somebody had a new service.
That's right.
Go available for pre-sale.
That's right.
You want to tell them a little bit about it?
Yeah, so we have the earnings trader, and this new service is going to give you guys all of the different levels to go into trading, into the earnings. So we'll give you all the charts ahead of time, so that way you can trade all the volatility on the earnings. So it's going to be exciting.
And you're also going to have access to able to be trading with, and it's not just Ben, Dr. B.
Dr. B
he's
is
not
part
here,
of the
but
service
he
as well.
is also part of the service. you're going to be able to trade with them live. Let's say NVIDIA's having earnings, big company. They'll be live with members of the service in
That's
a
right.
day trading room.
Yep.
And you're going to be able to trade it together. You can see what they see and trade it together. Additionally, on Mondays, you and Dr. B are going to have their earnings trader live, where they'll be able to, where members are going to be able to ask them questions, kind of like we're doing now, but
Yeah.
specifically for earnings in a similar setup. But go ahead and check it out. It's available for pre-sale, and the service officially starts next week, Monday, July 8th. Okay, final question for you, Ben.
Final question.
From Lear C, says, thoughts on silver? Nothing else. Thoughts on silver? I like silver.
I like silver.
I like silver.
Silver is a tricky one. Silver is extremely volatile. Like you can have, 10, 15% moves sometimes in a day. It's down 10% off of the level of around $30 already. Excuse me. So I like silver if it gets down to the 23.73 level. It does look like it's resting on support right here. So right around the 26.32 level. So you've got this little bit pivot here, this pivot here before a decent move down, before it got down to about $18. So if it can maintain this level right here, then you got further upside. However, the more it consolidates on this support level, then the more likely it is to break. And then you've got this level right here. So you've got this gap fill. It's just slightly higher than 23.73. And so that actually might be the first level that I get in. But 23.73 is the level. And that's not an all-in position. But, excuse me, not but. And you want to be able to maneuver. So if it drops down to about the $22 level, add a little bit there. And then it might get down to the $20 level. I don't see it going much lower than that before an eventual bounce. But it is an industrial metal, so if the economy starts slowing down even more, who knows? There could be additional rollover for silver as well. But those are the levels I like. So those are my thoughts.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you, Ben.
Awesome.
Thank you all for watching.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for the comments. It makes this show a lot more fun, a lot more interactive, and please keep in mind that this is for informational purposes only. Do your own research before making a trade, and on the plug trade, do not go all in.
I might.
Or plug power, whatever it was. Yeah. So anyway, clean spark. No, that was clean spark. Okay.
Silver?
Silver, none.
Anyways.
Don't go all in. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time on Financially Fit.
Take care.